The train had already left before I arrived at the station. Hello viewers, how are you? Welcome to the English Quizly channel, your go-to destination for exciting English grammar quizzes. Today we are going to see how good is your English grammar. Answer these fun questions to find out. But before that, don't forget to subscribe to our channel to play more fun quizzes. Alright, let's play the quiz. It had been raining for hours by the time the match was abandoned. She had been working on the project for months by the time she had finished it. When I got home, my wife had already cooked dinner. By the time the police arrived, the thief had already escaped. I had been studying for hours by the time the exam started. When she finally got a job, she had already been unemployed for 6 months. By the time I reached the airport, my flight had already taken off. The old man had been living in the same house for over 50 years by the time he had passed away. She had been saving up for a new car for months by the time she had bought it. The students had been working on their group project for weeks by the time they had presented it. The company had been in business for over 100 years by the time it went bankrupt. The scientist had been working on a new invention for years by the time he had perfected it. The team had been training for months by the time they won the competition. By the time the new government came to power, the country had been in a recession for 2 years. The athlete had been training for the Olympics for 4 years by the time she completed. The artist had been working on a painting for months by the time he had finished it. The company had been developing the new product for years by the time it was launched. The student had been studying for the exam for weeks by the time he took it. The couple had been dating for 5 years by the time they got married. The children had been playing in the park for hours by the time their parents picked them up. The chef had been preparing the meal for 2 hours by the time the guests arrived. The tourists had been walking around the city all day by the time they found a place to eat. The students had been working on their essays for weeks by the time they handed them in. The patient had been waiting in the doctor's office for over an hour by the time he was seen. The mechanic had been fixing the car for all day by the time it was ready. The teacher had been talking for over half an hour by the time the students got bored. The team had been practicing for months by the time they played the championship game. The farmer had been working in the field all day by the time the sun set. The writer had been working on the novel for years by the time she finished it. The scientist had been conducting experiments for months by the time he made a breakthrough. The company had been developing the new product for years by the time it was finally released. The athlete had been training for the Olympics for 4 years by the time she won the gold medal. The artist had been working on the painting for months by the time he decided to sell it. The musician had been practicing the song for weeks by the time she performed it in front of an audience. The student had been studying for the exam for days by the time he took it. The couple had been planning their wedding for a year by the time they finally got married. The family had been saving up for a vacation for months by the time they were finally able to book it. The friends had been waiting for the restaurant to open for over an hour by the time the doors were unlocked. The neighbors had been complaining about the noise for weeks by the time the police arrived. The dog had been barking for hours by the time the owner told it to stop. The flowers had been dying for days by the time I remembered to water them. The baby had been crying for a long time by the time the mother picked her up. The guests had been waiting for over an hour by the time the food was served. The sun had already set by the time we reached the campsite. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like it, share it, and post your marks in the comment section. And if you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss any new video.